leaving my master so bruised and ragged. He'll pay dearly, I promise! Sophia! I'll return shortly. I'm off to take his head. What?
All right, my friends, we have Greatest Alchemist episode number 8, and we kind of got another nothing burger of an episode. Here's the main things that occurred this episode. 1, there was a big emphasis, which took up a majority of the episode, with them deciding on a name. And eventually, we decided on, or, you know, our main character decided on Wings of Nalian, Wings, whatever the goddess's name is, Wings of somebody, Wings of Nalian or something like that. Because, you know, he was like, okay, this is representing all of our party together, where we have all grown and spread our wings, essentially. So, you know, Maria, Sophia have dedicated themselves to him, and, you know, they've talked about, like, you know, we're going to be with you till we die kind of thing. So there's no bigger profession of love than saying, yeah, we'll be with you till death, to a part legitimately. And because they've all kind of spread their wings, including Maple as well, you know, they decided on that name. So it's like, okay, that's a cool name. So that took up the majority of the episode. Outside of that, the other things that took place this episode was, again, giving us this weird back and forth time travel, you know, whatever shenanigans with the other folks that ended up getting summoned as well. And we saw some inner turmoil there between the different heroes that were summoned. Of course, boys be really weird with the one girl there. The girl being the only really sharp one. I don't know what her name is. I forget, whatever. It doesn't even matter. She's being sharp. She's trying to investigate, like, what's up with the goddesses? What's up with I think her name's 𝐒𝐻𝐚𝐽, by the way. She's like, what's going on with the goddesses? Why were we summoned here? What are we actually defeating? What's the purpose? If all the other gods, you know, created these beasts and created this, like, what's this true evil? Like, what's our true purpose? Like, she's really trying to figure out, like, it can't just be summon hero, defeat evil, save the world. Like, other countries are not doing these same actions. So, like, why this kingdom? Why this country? You know, so she's putting some thought to the things that are actually going on within the world and everything, which I think is going to be good, which I think is going to what's going to end up leading her to Takumi at some point as well. So that was, like, the big thing that ended up happening. Outside of that, you know, the other thing is he connected with the, what do you call it? The king of the kingdom that he's at, the king or the merchant or whatever of the kingdom that he's at. I think his name's like Lobus or something like that. He's basically the person who's been, you know, Heisman trophying, you know, everybody away from Takumi and getting noticed and stuff. So, you know, that's definitely been happening a lot. So we got to see that kind of like at the beginning of the episode as well, too. And I guess the last thing is, you know, it was a lot of Reva kind of being, you know, part of the group now and showing what Takumi could do. And then, you know, when they went and they took a mission on for one of the S-Class parties, there was also a moment where they got, their lives got attempted on, and they try to get assassinated for whatever reason. We assume it's the other kingdoms trying to take somebody out. And then they reported that over to the guild, and that's going to be a big hoopla and a big thing as well, too. And that happened at the end of the episode, this episode as well. So yeah, I mean, that's really all that happened this episode. So I know I said it was nothing burger, you know, it really was. And what I mean by that is, like, it's not that things didn't happen this episode. It really is, like, it's not that things didn't happen. It's just, like, the way that it presented them. I thought last episode was pretty good. I don't think it was amazing, but I thought I think 2 episodes ago, I thought sucked. Last episode, I thought, you know, with the introduction of Reva and stuff, I thought it was a pretty good episode. This episode, like, it was okay. It was a very 6 out of 10. It was just okay. I didn't laugh. I wasn't overly entertained. I wasn't overly stimulated anyway. I wasn't mad. I wasn't sad. I wasn't anything. I watched the episode and I came to talk about it. And that's pretty much it. And I think that's kind of the main problem that it has. You know, I've talked about it. There's a few different anime this season that are very budget, which is totally okay. I love budget anime. I love that they are adapting these stories that would never get a wider audience on a budget. And I think that even when you have a really budget anime and you have to cut corners, for costs. I think most of those corners that need to be cut are going to be animation related. But when they have a bad problem of conveyance of the story, or they don't really adapt it well, or they're not making an entertaining product, that tends to be like just direction from the director and the studio and the folks making the decisions of how how they're going to get the manga or the light novel story, and they're going to adapt it. And then they have their screenwriters who, they kind of rewrite the script, and they're the ones deciding in tandem with the director and whoever else is leading the studios. There's a few people involved. It's those folks' fault when they're not making an entertaining product. And if I look at anime that is also budget, I think this season Ari Ferretta was awesome this season. I think that one's a good representation of one of my favorite budget anime. I think of other budget anime like Realist Hero Wants to Rebuild the Kingdom. That one is the most budget show. Like literally they use stills, and they just kind of put like those little like wind swooshes, that animation that even I do as like a YouTuber. They put it on there, and they just have like a still image just like panning. So like that's budget, but the show was so engaging, enthralling, entertaining, and informational that it kept you engaged, even though what you're seeing is almost nothing on screen. As opposed to here, we're seeing stuff, but it's just not really engaging. So, I guess at the end of it, it's going to end up being a very 6 or 6.5 out of 10 anime, but it just has potential to be more, and it has potential to have more moments. And I think they just spent too much. They spent too much time on deciding the name. And they had the banter between Sophia and between Maria and between Takumi, as she was like, "Oh, let's call him the guy with the nannies. Let's call him, the king wants his attention party." Just these jokes that for me were falling flat. So, yeah. Anyways. That's all I have for this episode, guys. I thought it was it was just an okay episode. Hopefully next episode's better. Next episode, they didn't give us a name or preview for next episode, so that kind of sucks booty hole. But we assume that there's going to be more investigation into the assassins that came after Takumi in the group. And there'll probably be more about the summon heroes as well, too. Next episode. I think the summon heroes could have just been like they could have not even been a thing. I think the story would be better for it, but they're deciding to do that here in a 12-episode run, and that's what they're deciding to do, so is what it is. I'll see you guys next week, though. Peace.